That the century ahead is going to be a clean energy century. It has to become one, and it will. The question is, will America take charge of its own future, and will we lead the world in this endeavor?
Will allow us to do exactly what I think Senator Alexander wants us to do, and that is to become less dependent upon foreign energy sources and to use more energy sources here in America and create jobs in this country.
Well, clean energy is one way to reduce the carbon emissions that are one of the main problems that we've got. So clean energy would be a way to make our economy go and still not cause the kind of problems that global warming.
Really, in so many ways, is a signature issue of the 21st century and for our world. And embedded in that legislation and the debate that you will have, it seems to me that there is huge agreement, frankly, between Democrats and Republicans on some of the key principles. And what those key principles are, as President Obama has often said, is first of all, reducing our dangerous dependence on foreign oil. Second of all, creating billions of new energy jobs here in the United States of America. And third, safeguarding our children from the dangers of pollution.
Clean energy can be a powerful engine for creating that kind of growth. That's why the Recovery Act included the single biggest investment in job-creating clean energy in our history, in renewable sources of energy, in advanced manufacturing, in clean vehicle technology, in a bigger, better, smarter electric grid that can carry clean homegrown energy from the places that harness it to the places that need it.
Fossil fuels are a non-renewable resource, so obviously there's a limit to how much is there. It does vary with different fuels. I mean, there's more natural gas probably available than say petroleum, and there's also more coal available, but ultimately we do need to transition away from those because we will run out. It's difficult to give a timeline, but as those fuels get less and less available, they'll become more and more expensive. So that's an obvious limit right there.
We are on track to double renewable energy production and double our capacity to manufacture clean energy components like wind turbines and solar panels right here in the United States by the year 2012.
We have always recognized the attributes that we really like about renewable energy, and one of those, of course, is that the resource is free, it's plentiful, it's renewable, and if we were only able to harness it.
The main forms that you'll find are solar and wind and hydro, and that can include wave and tidal motions, and biomass is another form.
Our nation's buildings, our homes, and our offices consume almost 40% of the energy we use and contribute almost 40% of the carbon pollution that we produce, and everybody's talking about right now in Copenhagen.
I think you left out an adjective, and I'd put the word cheap in there, inexpensive if you prefer, because a nation that doesn't have cheap energy is not a nation that will lead the world, and that's especially true with the United States that uses 25% of all the energy in the world.
MG&E customers use on average about 10 kilowatt hours of electricity a day and maybe 240,000 BTUs of natural gas every day. But that's probably maybe a third of all the energy that they're responsible for by the time you figure the materials that they buy, the food, the transportation they use. So it's a lot, and practically everything we do really has to do with energy.
Think about it this way. If you haven't upgraded your home yet, it's not just heat or cool air that's escaping. It's energy and money that you are wasting. If you saw $20 bills just sort of floating through the window up into the atmosphere, you'd try to figure out how you were going to keep that. I know the idea may not be very glamorous, although I get really excited about it. We were at the round table and somebody said insulation's not sexy. I disagree. Frank, don't you think insulation is sexy stuff? Here's what's sexy about it. Saving money.
Well, you know, we're all really very dependent on energy. If you think about practically anything that you use, has energy either directly associated with it or took energy to make it.
One of the challenges in renewable energy, certainly for solar and for wind, what you find is that the resource is variable. You know, the wind doesn't blow all the time, the sun doesn't shine all the time.
This is the discussion. This is not, I'm not making policy here. I'm just saying that there's a new realization that it's a national issue, and how to use renewable energy and port it around the country. And so I think we want to start with that premise that this becomes a national imperative.
But an energy bill has to take account not just the captains of the energy industry, but also the people who buy the energy. Middle-class families need protection from a jolt in their electricity rates, and they also need an energy bill to provide job opportunities. I believe a new energy bill, done right, will mean new business, like retooling and reopening manufacturing facilities to make the nuts and bolts of new energy systems, electric car batteries, solar panels, and geothermal heat pumps.
I think that what younger folks can do is, number one, is learn about these things, learn about energy and renewable energy, and make sure that you support the development of clean energy and use it as much as you can.
I am convinced that we can meet our challenge because it's in our national character. It's, you know, innovation and invention are really the American DNA. And I am convinced that Americans want us to lead the world as we have before. We invented the technologies of wind and solar, and now it's time to take back control of our own future.